If you watched part 1 and you want to do weight loss or cutting, you obviously clicked on part 3. This is part 3.
I ain't never met another person like me. I ain't never met another person.
This is going to be a video on how to calculate your macros for weight loss. For an example on how to calculate your weight loss macros, I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm a 26-year-old male, 5'9", and I weigh 170 pounds. So basically to figure out your weight loss, you need to first start with what's called your total daily energy expenditure, otherwise known as your TDEE. So to figure out your TDEE, you take your body weight and you multiply it by either 14 or you multiply it by 17. Now, what number you multiply your body weight depends on how active you are. So, daily activity, if you are sedentary, you have an office job, you sit down most of the day, it's going to be 14. You're going to multiply your body weight by 14 because you're not that active. If you're a little bit more active, light activity, most of the day you're on your feet, you're kind of moving around, you're a teacher, maybe a postman or something like that, and you're doing a lot of walking, that's a little bit more activity, so you're going to multiply by 15. If you're pretty active, most of the day you're doing physical work like a waiter or a busboy, then you're going to multiply by 16. If you're very active, most of the day you're doing like physical labor, construction job, you know, anything that requires a lot of heavy lifting and walking, anything that requires a heavy lifting walking combination, that's gonna be 17 because you're very active, you're using a lot of calories, you're burning a lot of fuel in your body, you need to refuel your body. So another thing that's gonna come into play is on top of your job, how active you are at your job or your daily activity, whatever it is you do every day, without excluding the gym, then you're also going to take into consideration how often you exercise, how many days a week you exercise, how long do you exercise per session, and how intense is your training. So for me, I exercise 6 days a week at about an hour per session, and I'm at a moderate training intensity. So what that means is a light training intensity would be no sweat. You can hold a conversation with somebody, no problem, you know, in between your sets. You just, hey, yeah, what's going on, Frank? How you doing? How's the wife? How's the kids? You can do that. No problem. A moderate training intensity is going to be a little bit more challenging. You're breathing a little bit harder. Your heart rate is up a little bit. You might break a sweat. You can still have a conversation, but you're breathing a little bit harder. So it might be like, hey Frank, how's the wife and kids? So you can have a conversation fairly easily. The next training intensity is going to be difficult. You're sweating, your heart rate's up, and you're breathing very hard. At this point, you can't really hold a conversation. You're breathing too hard. You know, you're getting sauced. The next one is intense. This level of training is balls to the wall, intense, getting it in. I might die in this gym. That's how hard this intensity is right here. This is like all business. You got to take this into consideration as well as your daily activity. For me, I'm very active, so I'm going to multiply my body weight by 17. That's going to give me a number of 2,890. That's going to be my TDEE. That's my total daily energy expenditure. So what this means is, essentially, this is my maintenance calories. If I were to eat 2,890 calories exactly per day, with my activity level, I wouldn't gain weight or lose weight. My TDEE is going to be 2,890. So this is our starting point. Also, another number that people like to take into consideration is what's called your BMR. That's your basal metabolic rate. You take your body weight and multiply it by 10.2. That's going to give me 1734. So essentially what your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. This means this is the amount of calories I would need per day if I were doing nothing. Laying in bed for 24 hours, my body is going to need 1,734 calories to just maintain life, breathing, pumping blood, everything in your body working just as you're alive. That's going to be the number that you need roughly to just survive and have your body work and function properly. Your TDEE is what you want to focus on because that's your starting point to figure out your macros. Since we're doing weight loss, You want anywhere, it's the same for bulking, just on a deficit instead of a surplus. So you want to subtract your maintenance calories by 200 to 500 calories depending on how active you are. If you're really active, you don't need to subtract that much. I would start with 200 calories less than your maintenance. Try that for a week, see how that works. And if you're not active, then you're probably going to need to subtract more because you don't require as much calories. So a good starting point is 200 to 300 calories less than your maintenance. That's going to give me a new maintenance of 2,590. So this is my target calorie goal per day I want to hit in order to lose weight. And that's not changing anything else. I'm still going to do the job that I do. I'm still going to exercise how I exercise, but I'm going to aim for this number to lose weight. And I want to lose about a pound a week to 2 pounds a week. This is where it gets different between cutting and weight loss. If you're cutting, you want to maintain as much muscle as possible. You want to keep as much muscle on you. So your protein is going to be at a certain level until you drop enough weight to where you're in a lower body fat percentage. You're going to want to up the protein to hold on to muscle. Now, if this is something that doesn't concern you, you can just keep dropping weight and exercising, and as long as you're happy with the way you look, you don't need to worry about it. But if you start to feel like you want more muscle, you need to up your protein a little bit, from 1 gram per pound of body weight to anywhere from 1 gram to 1.3 grams per pound of body weight into your last stages of losing weight. So now I have my new goal intake per day. I need to break it up into carbs, fats, and proteins now. I'm going to take 1 gram per pound of body weight is going to be protein. So that's 170 grams. I weigh 170 pounds, 170 grams of protein. I need to take that and multiply it by 4 because each gram of protein is worth 4 calories. I need to figure out how many calories my protein intake is going to be worth per day. That's going to give me 680. So 680 calories out of my 2,590 are going to be from protein. So now I need to figure out my fat calorie intake. Fat, you want to do about 0.4 grams of fat per pound of body weight. So I'm going to take 170 and multiply it by 0.4. That's going to give me 68 grams of fat. Now, fat, each gram is worth 9 calories. So I need to take 68 and multiply it by 9. That's going to give me 612 calories. Now that I have my protein calories and my fat calories, I need to take those two sums, add them together, and then subtract from my 2,590. This will give me my leftover calories for carbs. So 680 plus 612 is 1,292. And if I take that number and subtract it from my daily goal, that's going to be 1,298. So that's my leftover calories, and those calories are going to come from carbs. Carbohydrates per gram are worth 4 calories, so I need to take this number and divide it by 4, and that'll give me the grams of carbohydrates I need per day, which is going to be 324 grams of carbohydrates per day. Now, that number that I figured for my weight loss, the 2,590, it's going to be made up of 170 grams of protein, 68 grams of fat, and 324 grams of carbohydrates. So now I have my daily macronutrient goals. I need to hit 170 grams of protein, 68 grams of fat, and 324 grams of carbs per day, and that will add up to a total calorie goal of 2,590. If I'm hitting this goal over the course of a week, I should lose about 1 pound to 2 pounds. If I lose more than 2 pounds, then I need to up my calories a little bit. And a good starting point, if you're losing too much weight too fast, is just up the calories by about 100 to 200. Then do the same equations to figure everything else out again. And then follow that for a week. You need 3 things in order for your diet to have pretty good success and for you to track everything. MyFitnessPal, it's a free app that you can download, and you can enter all your stats. You can enter your macro goals, your calorie goals, your water intake, your exercise, all that into your phone, and then that will significantly increase your success rate because you're tracking everything. Secondly is you need a food scale. You need to try and track your food and cook your food at home as much as possible because it's healthier. You know exactly how much food you're getting, exactly what types of carbs you're eating, protein, fat. You know what you're getting versus buying something. It's way more precise. And the third thing is you need a bathroom scale to weigh yourself. You want to weigh yourself after you wake up and go to the bathroom every morning. Check your weight. Now, if you're just starting to work out and if you're lifting weights, you might build some muscle, so the scale might go up a little bit because you're putting on muscle mass over the course of a few weeks to a couple months. You might be putting on muscle weight and dropping fat weight if you're just starting out. If you've been working out for a while, chances are your weight's just going to go down because you're not really going to be able to build muscle and lose weight at the same time. But that's another discussion for another video. If you do those three things, you track your weight in the morning, you track your food on MyFitnessPal, and you start weighing out your food, you will see results faster than you ever have before. Let's say you don't lose any weight over the course of a week and you follow your macronutrients to a T, drop your calories by 100 or 200, try that for a week and then see where you're at. Same goes if you lose too much weight, up the calories, see where you're at. So that's how you calculate your macronutrients for weight loss. If you missed my other video on how to calculate macronutrients for a bulk, for gaining weight, go click that, that's part 2. And if you want an introduction on macronutrients in the first place, then watch my part 1 video. That's pretty much it for how to calculate your macros for weight loss. If you have any questions, just comment down below. I try to respond to every single comment that I get. If this seems too complicated for you and you would like some one-on-one help, just email me. I'll put that in my description box and I can do this for you. I can calculate your plan for you. I have a questionnaire already for you to fill out and I can calculate this for you. I also do music. Check me out. I have those links down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Really appreciate you guys checking out my video. If you're curious on any other topics, just comment down below. I'll make another video on it to answer questions and make a video explaining things. Anyways, guys, just follow this. Start getting in the gym. Start changing your life. Start eating better. And you will get the results that you want. Anyways, I hope this video helped you guys. That's it for today's video. Stay blessed and get sauced.